And I don't mind a sing-song every now and again.
It has been, no. So I was waiting for me to sit down. I was like, something's wrong here. There's only one of us sat there on the podcast. Cool. Hey everybody, it's John Hamilton here, alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We're here for another episode of the Big Idea Podcast, where, as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without working harder. So, without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to the March episode of the podcast. So, my 8-year-old is collecting mentors at the moment.
Yes, and Dab Wizard is too.
He's too.
There we thought we were going to go for some cookies.
Yep.
And there was Jack working the room.
Yeah, we went to a networking event last weekend. Actually, a little bit of background on this. So Jack, my 8-year-old, as many 8-year-olds, wants to be a YouTuber. He has this dream/desire to become a famous YouTuber. He doesn't quite know what for yet. Just knows that actually he quite likes the idea of making some money, and YouTube seems to be a good way in which he can do this. So yeah, we went to a networking event last week, and the guys who were hosting the networking event, their son was also there. Now their son is 11 years old. He's called Sam, and he runs a YouTube channel, so he is a YouTuber. His channel name is Happy Lettuce, if you want to go and give him some support and subscribe to him. So Jack kind of literally honed in on Sam. Oh, this guy knows.
It wasn't. It was a business card, wasn't it? It was the business card. It was like, that looks like the Xbox logo, and he picked it up and had a look, and then found out that it was about Sam.
Yeah,
we hadn't really given that any idea, because that's not what we were there for at all, was it? And it was just like, there's an Xbox card there, Jack.
We took Jack along because we were going out for the evening afterwards, and literally there was no option other than, well, I'll tell you what, Jack, you come along, bring some colouring books with you, bring your iPad. You'll sit there bored for half an hour eating cookies whilst the grown-ups are talking business. And as it turned out, he came away from this meeting with Sam with a bullet points of everything that he needed to do in order to get his YouTube channel live and to grow his audience and to make millions of pounds out of his YouTube channel. And Sam, just as we were leaving, said to Jack, if you've got any questions, give me a ring. And Jack said, I haven't got your phone number. Okay, here's my phone number. Cool, no worries. Thank you very much for that. I think it was the next day. It was either the next day or 2 days later. I'm working in the kitchen, and Sarah, my wife, is also in the kitchen here, and we were just working away. Jack comes in after school and just casually announces, can you guys be quiet for a minute, please? Because I need to make an important phone call. And we just didn't really process what he'd just said to us. And it was just, I carried on working. Sarah carried on doing what she was doing. And then about a minute or two later, Sarah comes in and said to me, no, he's actually on the phone to somebody. Because we thought he was just playing away, I need to make an important phone call, let me get my Fisher-Price telephone out. Oh, yes, bye. Bye-bye. But no, he was actually on the phone to someone. I'm like, who the hell's he on the phone to? And then she said he's talking about YouTube and Xbox. I'm like, I know who he's on the phone to. And basically, my 8-year-old had decided that he was going to pick up the phone and call his new mentor. And he was just on the phone to Sam saying, cool, so how do I set up this YouTube account then? Right, where do I go? Right, I can see that. What do I do next? How do I get the banner done? What do I do about that? What should I make my video about? And Sam, God bless him, was so patient that he was just able to deal with this 8-year-old asking him very inane, very basic questions.
And that's just brilliant. But that teaches us all something, doesn't it, really? Because lots of people go to networking, lots of people talk to people, lots of people get people's business cards together.
Yep.
But very few do that follow-up.
It is the follow-up.
Phone call.
Yeah.
And actually, very next day, he's on the phone there.
Yeah.
Hi, met last night. You offered to give me some help. Or you've offered this, offered that, offered the other. Let's do it.
I'd like to take up on your offer, yeah. And it is that naivety of a child to go, well, he said I could phone him, so I'm going to phone him. Whereas an adult would go, I know he said I could phone him, but God, I don't want to be a pain, don't want to pester him, What's going on here? Again, lesson for everyone there is find someone who's done what you want to do and get the blueprint off them, because unless they've got a real scarcity mindset, they are going to be happy to share with you and happy to let you know. We went to Spain last year. I met up with Clark. He was one of my original mentors. So he was, again, 2-3 years ahead of me in the game, doing very well, but happy to share, happy to say to me, this is what you need to do. These are the mistakes, these are the pitfalls to avoid. So we met up just for a chat with Clark. And sure enough, Clark's son Fraser was there. Fraser is also a YouTuber. He's doing immensely well.
Fraser to the max.
That is his channel name.
His channel,
1.1 million minutes of page views. I keep calling it page views. Video views. Yeah, YouTube. You can tell I'm not a famous YouTuber, can you?
In the last 28 days.
In the last month, yeah. 23,500 subscribers. And he's 10 years old. Phenomenally well. Again, you've got to find that person who's done what you want to do. So Jack has now got a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old who are both doing what he wants to do, almost on tap to go, what do I do about this? Oh, I've hit this roadblock. Because he's coming to me asking me how to set up a YouTube channel. I've got no idea, because he's asking me technical stuff. Do not ask me anything technical. He's asking the wrong person. If he wants to know marketing advice, I mean, we had a little conversation yesterday, which trying to explain markets message media to an 8-year-old, it's quite interesting. But I think I got through.
Good.
If he wants to know marketing, if he wants to know about strategy and business growth, absolutely, I'm there. But the ins and outs of actually how to technically set up a YouTube channel.
No, but you can certainly help him with growing his audience. You can help him with actually getting the right product for his channel. Bearing in mind, who's going to be there, who's going to be listening, the market, what market is he looking for. Obviously, we've got a couple of different aspects there, with Fraser doing gaming and Sam doing just general stuff, isn't he? Is he doing gaming?
He's doing gaming as well, yeah.
So they've got their kind of market, if you like. It's going to be younger children who like to play these games that these are going to go through and do cheats and various other aspects of things that are going to go on there. So actually, that is the market. So actually, identifying one for Jack would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's not quite sure whether it's gaming or whether it's just general chit chat, I think was what he said.
General chit chat, yeah, exactly.
I think it was general chit chat. Oh no, I don't want to do gaming. I just want to.
But is it also
talk to the camera?
Again, another lesson for the general audience out there is Jack's recorded lots of videos, none of which have made it as far as YouTube, because they've not been good enough in his mind.
Right.
If you want to laugh, go back and listen to the first few episodes of this podcast, because they were pretty poor, they were pretty ropey, they were amateurish. But we got them out there. And if we'd waited until it was perfect, we'd still be waiting now, wouldn't we?
Probably.
Just get it out there and just get some content. Create some content, create an audience, find out what your audience actually want. So my question, I don't know the answer to this. How do I encourage Jack to do this without being pushy dad? Do you remember Pushy Dad from the Fast Show?
Not my cup of tea.
He always wanted his kids to be uber competitive.
I get one, yeah.
So how do I actually encourage Jack to go down this road without... I want him to enjoy childhood and actually have some fun.
I think, nurture. That's all it's about. It's nurturing. Actually, what do you want to do? Let's do that. Let's get it done. Work together to get it done, kind of thing. If he needs that little bit of push to get something up onto YouTube itself, to actually do the action, so to speak, you can move that along a little bit. I'm guessing, because you'll have that influence with Jack.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nurturing, really, isn't it? And actually, he's not having an expectation that he's going to create 20 videos today, because that's what needs to be done in order to get his views up and all the rest of it. It's a case of actually let's just generally nurture it. He's only 8. By the time he gets to Sam's place, he's going to be in. He's that's 3 years of stuff.
That's the way I'm thinking.
The important thing, really.
It's actually, by the time he's 11, he could have 150 videos under his belt. In which case, by the time he is at secondary school and all of his mates are also doing the YouTube channel, he's ahead of them, isn't he?
Book of the month.
Cool, last month's book of the month. So I really enjoyed this one. It was Neville Wright's The Answer is Yes. No, what was the question? No, that wasn't the question. That was what the book was called.
It was.
I absolutely love this book. I know we talked a lot last year about Shoe Dog being a fantastic inspirational story. For me, I think Neville's is better. I've listened to it actually twice in the same month. It was a long book. I mean, we listened to it on Audible, 16 hours, was it? But just so many takeaways and such a great story, I think, because for me, Phil Knight, I think I remember saying at the time with Nike, he succeeded when he really shouldn't have done. He didn't really know what he was doing. He surrounded himself with, what was it, call them, butt faces or something, wasn't it?
Something like that.
But people who had no idea what they were doing, and he somehow accidentally succeeded, and then became very successful. Whereas I think Neville was always going to succeed, and he touched on this several times about, obviously his main success was the nursery business. He also built a £30 million property portfolio on the side.
Yeah.
But that was his main business. But as far as he's concerned, if he'd stayed being a window cleaner, he'd now own the largest window cleaning company in the UK. If he was a pig farmer, he'd own the biggest pig farm in the UK. It's like, actually, he always had that in him, that no matter what he did, it was always going to be the best. He was always going to be the biggest. He was always going to be... he was always going to be successful. Now, someone touched on this last night, and I'm keen to investigate this. Do you think he's a hustler?
Yes. In brief,
Yeah.
he was working all the hours that God could send him in order to make his business move forward. He had a plan, obviously a master plan of how that was going to be and how it was going to look. Took lots of opportunities on the way that were kind of given to him and not. But actually, no, he did hustle, I think.
Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah, he worked every hour under the sun. He hustled other people to do the same kind of thing. He had the staff with the right mentality that was lucky, and those that weren't, they were gone. Kind of thing. He was keeping, on top of that. Got his children were working for him, age 13 kind of thing, 16 they were running stores,
Child labour.
Took him out of schools in order to provide an extra pair of hands in the work. No, not like that. But so he was. I think he absolutely was a hustler, really. I worked very hard to get where he wanted to be.
Because we, obviously we are anti-hustle here at the Big Idea Podcast. Do you think? I mean, obviously he wouldn't have been as successful without the hustle. But what about his health? Because his health did suffer. I mean, I'm just listening to it again, and I've just reached a stage where he's now on blood pressure tablets because he went to the local Boots pharmacy and said, "Oh, I've got my blood pressure reading machine here. It's faulty." And they went, "No, it's not. You need to go to hospital now, else you might die." And he said, turns out it was stress, which he was always. I thrive on stress. It was very alpha male, isn't it? I thrive on stress. Sleep is for wimps. 20 odd years in excruciating back pain, and still squeezing himself into a Porsche 911. But I just think, he would not have been necessarily as successful had he not hustled, had he not worked really hard. But actually, could he still have been very, very successful? And actually had a better lifestyle had he eased off the gas a little bit. I don't think it's in his nature to ease off the gas.
No, I mean that's it. There are people that can and those that can't, aren't there? And there are those that want to do the work, and he thrived on stress. He thrived on working. Thrived on the the 20-hour days or whatever else. He thrived on that, and that was his persona. His body, on the other hand, had other ideas about that. It didn't really feel like it could cover upon that because humans aren't designed to do all of those things for a prolonged period of time. They can do, but they're not there for a prolonged period of time. So. Hustle.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
but he had a plan. That's the thing. He knew where it kind of wanted to go. He absolutely knew that that whatever he did had to move him forward somewhere, and it was going to do that. Whether that was building a website and starting that sort of side of things, which unheard of at the time. He was a pioneer in terms of retail, online stuff, or whether that was creating another. Building or buying up some commercial property for his portfolio kind of thing. He had a plan that everything that he did moved him forward or moved his business forward into more success. However that he looked at it. Yeah,
he said every day you're either building a business, or buying your business, or selling your business. And he said if you're selling it, then you're increasing the value of that asset. And I think that's again something that lots of people don't think about, is the value of their business as an asset. And that's all he looked to do every day. It wasn't how can I earn more money today. It was how can I increase the value of my asset today. And obviously he then cashed in that asset. But yeah, so many takeaways from that. I think we may well do a standalone episode just on Neville's story, because I think it's so many takeaways.
We could talk all day, couldn't we?
Honestly, if you haven't read the book, I would strongly advise it. It's probably going to be my book of the year for 2018, and we're only just in March, so you've got to go some. So let's try and beat it. Next month is a more familiar name for many people. So many people won't have heard of Neville. Certain people below a certain age won't have heard of this next chap, but certainly anyone who's, I would say, 40 or above will have heard the name Gerald Ratner. And that is who we are going to choose our book from next month. It is Gerald Ratner's latest book, which is called The Rise and Fall and Rise Again. Okay. And as you may imply from that, this covers what famously happened in the early 90s, was it?
It could have been.
Basically, Ratners were the high street jewellers. There was a Ratners on every single high street, everywhere in the country. H. Samuel were nothing on these guys. They were the big players in the jewellery sector. Until one day when Gerald Ratner stood up at the Institute of Directors and made a joke about the quality of his products. Something along the lines of, how can I afford to sell this? It was like a canteen of cutlery, or some glasses or something like that. How can I afford to sell this for $2.99? Well, I can, because it's crap. And everyone at the event had a good laugh. Oh yeah, it's a good joke. But then the press picked up on it the next day. These products are crap. Something about a prawn sandwich, when it's the same price as a Marks and Spencer prawn sandwich, but the prawn sandwich would probably last longer. Those are just two jokes that he made at his own expense, at his own company's expense. Absolutely killed his company. He went from being he was close to being a billionaire, I believe, to being destitute overnight. And obviously the book will cover that.
So it was called
The Rise and Fall and Rise Again. So basically how he grew Ratner's to become this huge behemoth, how he killed it, which obviously everyone knows, but then what people don't know is what happened since. Now I saw Gerald Ratner speak about 4 years ago. Very, very entertaining guy. I'm sure the stories he's got to tell in the book are fantastic. We all know the crap, but we don't necessarily know what's happened since the crap. I know a little bit about it, and basically, again, similar to Neville, Gerald Ratner was always going to succeed. And you can take away his entire business, his entire livelihood, he's still going to succeed again, and he has since. And I think this is more the story about what's happened since. And for me, it's a fantastic answer to that question. What would you do if you lost everything? Because people always ask it. They always ask successful people, what would you do if you lost everything? Gerald Ratner can answer what I did after I lost everything, because he did have it all on a plate. He lost the whole lot, and now he's then rebuilt another massive empire. With obviously the lessons he's learnt, particularly about PR, I would imagine.
I guess he's not called it Ratner's anymore, though.
No, it's I think his latest business is called Gerald Online.
Oh, okay, there we are.
Which gives you a little bit of a clue about what road he's gone down. But yeah, he's got some fantastic little stories, so I'm looking forward to that one. For those who bemoan the length of the audiobooks that we do recommend, you'll be pleased to know I think it's about 6.5 hours. So it's a good 10 hours shorter than Neville's was last month.
Right, what are we on to next then, Johnny?
Accountability. Let's talk accountability,
okay.
Shall we?
That's it.
So why does accountability work?
Oh, is that the question?
Yeah, I'm asking you a question.
Well, accountability is, I think, the single most thing that's is really important in our business, really. We're all kind of held accountable.
Yeah.
In terms of us. In terms of our staff, and in terms of the people that we use for our support network, our mentors and things. So actually we put a huge emphasis on accountability, really, don't we?
Yeah, I think accountability, it just gets stuff done. Particularly, again, we're talking a lot about the right stuff. We're not saying, giving a massive to-do list. Right, I'm going to get all this done today. But what's your one thing for this week? Right, okay, tell us what that one thing is. Let's publicly state what I'm going to do this week, this month, this year. So like last year, I went out around about this time last year and said, right, I'm going to release a book, and it's going to come out on the 20th of June, the longest day. That was then all of a sudden I had that public deadline. I told people what I was going to do and when I was going to do it. So I've then got two choices. I either don't do it, in which case I then look bad in front of my peers and my colleagues, and I don't want to do that, or I crack the hell on and I actually do what I said I was going to do. And just having that public accountability forces me to, when it's, so I can set a deadline of, I'm going to launch this book in 20th of June. And we're sat here on, say, the 5th of March, 3.5 months before my deadline. I've got to churn out 2,000 words today. Well, do I have to? Well, I don't have to. But I know I've got a public deadline. I've made myself accountable to hundreds and hundreds of people to say, who I've told this will be coming out. Yeah. So next time I speak to any of those 100 people, they're likely to say to me, how's the book coming on?
Yeah.
And then I have to then say, I haven't really done anything on that, or I'm giving up on that. Which I don't want to do. So I end up sitting there going, all right, okay, I'm going to crank 2,000 words out today. I'm going to get that done. How's the book coming on? Yeah, it's going all right. It's tough, it's hard work, but I'm getting it done.
Not only did you do the public thing that I'm actually writing a book and it's going to be released then, but we also booked a venue, we also put on a flyer, sent out invitations. So actually you put the well pressure on top of yourselves really, because actually not only was it public, everyone knows about it, people were coming to this event.
There was money on the line, wasn't there?
And if there wasn't a product at the end of that, there wasn't this thing for the launch, then that would have been not only embarrassing and all of those kind of things, and your credentials and all of that stuff would have gone out the window. It would have also meant that the money at the end of the day wouldn't have been coming in either. So it was it was good.
It was, but it's apologies once again to Colette, who was my book coach, for nearly breaking her in certainly the 5 weeks leading up to that public deadline, because it was a rather stressful time. We were pulling out all the stops, but that was the power of that accountability. I was not going to stand up on a stage in front of 100 people at the book launch and say, I haven't actually written the book. Sorry, guys.
Because you hadn't written the book. We'll be clear. It wasn't a deadline that you were gonna nail because you'd already done it.
No.
I've got the book ready, so I'm just going to have a launch. It was actually, I haven't finished writing this book yet. In fact, I'm halfway through, and I'm going to do it then. So it wasn't an achievable kind of thing that you set either, was it? No. It was a case of actually, I need to do this. This has got to be something.
It was the most important thing in my business that I wanted to do, and I knew the power of accountability. I could have kept that completely to myself and said, well, it'll be launched when it's ready. But then it probably wouldn't have been launched even now. But by giving it that public deadline, and quite a short deadline, should have made it longer, I was able to get it done and get it out there. Thinking about like stuff that we're doing at the moment. So one of my resolutions, if you remember from our January episode.
Your only resolution, if I remember from our January.
My only resolution.
And it was only kind of very, very... It wasn't as good as mine, to be fair, was it?
Well, I think it was. Either way...
So you're going to play more golf, John, weren't you?
Yes. Either way, 2 months on, I'm on track. Why am I on track? I'm on track because I have a group of people that I'm now accountable to, that we are going along every Tuesday night and we're playing golf. Why are we doing that? Because I don't want to let the group down. It's a bit cold at the moment. I know tomorrow night is not going to be very nice, but do you know what? I'm going to be there. I may need to wrap like a scarf around my head and wear my big fluffy gloves.
You were looking good last week, to be fair.
I know, thank you.
You'll be looking better this week.
But I want to learn to play golf. I want to play more golf. I want to get out there playing golf. So the way that I can do that is by... Sorry to interrupt. There, a cat has just walked straight across the screen. Where was I? Golf,
yes. So you made yourself accountable because you've joined a group that's got a set number of weeks that you're going to do the meeting for. So it's a 5-week or 6-week course or whatever else. You've gone and met this group now. You've formed a bond with them, and actually you're going to continue to do that because you're accountable to that group to go along and improve your golf, or to do some golf, which is all you said you can do is play more golf, and you're now doing that.
So I found myself a mentor, found myself a coach who's well ahead of where I want to be. They're teaching me the how-tos, the bullet points, do this, then do that, then do the other, correcting mistakes, everything like that. But I've also got that group around me who are also learning the same as me, but I'm now accountable to that group of, I will see you on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. I'll be there, apart from when football was on. That was a great game I went to. Something else I'm doing at the moment, which I haven't mentioned before, but I'm part of a press-up challenge at the moment.
Are you?
Yeah, do you remember we talked a while ago about doing
you were trying to get me to do one a day or something? I was trying to get you to
do one, yeah. So I'm doing 100 a day.
100 press-ups?
100 a day, yeah. Which I honestly would never have said I was capable of doing.
100 press-ups? Not one sitting?
Not in one sitting, no, just over the course of a day, 100.
Oh, okay.
So I've got two things that are holding me accountable to that. Number one is I've got an app on my phone, which is set to send me reminders and say, hey, you haven't done your 100 today, don't forget to do your 100. Number two, though, is I've got an accountability group. There's 4 of us. We're in a little Facebook group, and every day, all we do is just say, done my 100.
Okay.
And then someone will say, done my 100, and I'll go, oh, I've only done 60. Right, off we go then. Off we go, do it. Or someone else said, I'm having trouble, I'm struggling. I've got, so one of the guys in the group said, I've got a back injury, I can't do it. Cool. We're here to support you. We're almost giving you permission to take some time off, to not do it. But hey, you can do this. Someone else said, in the first week, I'm really struggling to do, 4 sets of 25. Okay, break it down. Do it 10, 20, 10, 20, and just ease it up. Do some on your knees, some on the full press ups. But just having that group around me means that we're on day 13 of a 30-day challenge.
Right. Now I know about it, which is good because I didn't know that originally. So that's very good. And now you guys all know that as well. So next podcast comes around, we can ask you about your challenge and if you're still doing 100 a day.
Yeah, but I shouldn't be by then because it'll be
after
over
30 days.
But
you might have formed a habit. You might be enjoying it,
But yeah, I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, do that again.
Oh dear. Sorry. Yeah, it's just another example of sort of how that works. I mean, we've got sort of some of our mentors as well. We meet up with them or we chat with them on a weekly basis, and again, it's just holding us accountable and saying, right, this is what we're going to do this week. And then we meet up a week later. Did you do what you said you were going to do last week? Yes, we did.
And that could be any area of your life or your business that you want to kind of do that. Like you say, yours is with health at the moment, and you're doing your press ups. But our mentor that we speak to weekly is in marketing, and actually it's like we're going to do this marketing this week. He just makes sure that we've done it and asks us what our plan is for the following week. So we've then got to have a plan ready, and we've also got to make sure that we've achieved what it was that we said we're going to do. So that was for marketing, but you can have it in any area of your life or your business that you want to do. Some people have a personal trainer. You're accountable to your personal trainer.
I'm going to do a whole episode of my personal trainer.
Okay, fair enough. You might have a personal trainer again who holds you accountable to do your exercise. You have to turn up 3 times a week. You have to do your whatever it is that they've set you to do, kind of thing. Some of you might go to a slimming group, and actually you're accountable to the whole group there, where you might lose a bit of weight and all of the kind of things by keeping on track. Lots of people use mentors and accountability partners in different ways, and we actually sit in our private group, don't we? So our 1% club. It's a huge factor. In fact, it's probably the most single factor that people join us for is for a bit of accountability, because actually getting stuff done is important, and they realise that actually moving their business forward, they do need to be accountable, because actually it is easy to go, we'll do that next week, or actually I don't fancy that, I'm not going to eat that frog, I'm not going to do these things, I'm going to leave it, we can let it go, and 2 or 3 months may pass before these things may happen.
You're singing from Frozen there.
Let it go.
Let it go.
No, I wasn't really, but there we go. We were talking about kissing frogs. That must be Cinderella. No.
Do you want to build a snowman?
No, thanks.
Okay.
Anyway, so it is for some, in fact, I would say for most, the single most thing that they get from being in the group is everybody has their own partner kind of thing, but we also have the weekly meetings and the monthly ones too, where we're actually holding everybody accountable to make sure that they are moving their business forward.
They are taking action. It's just literally, once you identify what action you want to take, tell someone that you're going to take that action. Get them to hold you accountable. And it's not literally them. It could be if you wanted to, but it's not literally them forcing you, saying, why haven't you done what you said you were going to do? But it's just knowing that actually you're going to meet up with someone next Thursday. And if you haven't done what you told them you were going to do, you've got to say to them, I haven't done what I said I was going to do. You've actually got to stand up. So the press up group, if I haven't done it, I've got to post on the group and say, I haven't done it. And I would make an excuse why. I mean, actually, I haven't needed to because I haven't skipped a day yet. But I would have skipped a day if I didn't have to update that group, because there's quite a few days where I've gone, oh my God, it's midnight already. I'm absolutely shattered. I want to go to bed. Oh, but I've still got 50 press ups to do. If I didn't have to update that group, I would just go to bed. I would just go to hell with it. But the fact that I've got to update the group, because I don't want to update the group and say, only did 50 yesterday because I forgot. Nah, not good enough for me,
No.
So I've been doing a little bit of public speaking recently.
You have, I know.
Kind of networking and business groups. It's on BBC Radio again at the weekend. You saw it, did you?
I did. It was on Facebook. It said you were on it.
I thought you sat there watching the radio again, are you?
No, I was busy on Saturday. Unfortunately, I missed you.
Oh, you can listen again.
Catch the iPlayer.
It's on the iPlayer for the next 28 days.
I will do that.
BBC Radio Devon, Kerry White Show, 24th of February it was. Very good. And we've also been asked to do a keynote presentation at a tech conference, haven't we?
Okay, yeah, tech.
But the thing is, that's not just bragging and showing off and saying, hey, we're doing loads of public speaking. That's me saying, look, I wasn't doing anything like this 12 months ago. If I would go as far as to say I'd never done any public speaking of any great amount until about 12 months ago. So I got thinking into how that actually came about.
You didn't really do any before at all, did you? To be fair, I mean, I think probably the book launch was the first real public speaking in terms of standing up in front of people and talking was actually the book launch, because I remember you saying how uncomfortable that was going to be. It was something you're going to do because you've got to kind of bite that bullet, but actually it's something that's like, I don't do that.
Well, I remember I did a public speaking course, 2-3 years ago. Never did anything with it. I did the course. I thought, oh, that's great. I did 2 minutes in front of an audience at this course, but never did anything with it. And I remember at a different conference several years ago, probably 10 years ago now, I was asked to speak at this conference, and I point blank refused and said no chance. And I think I may have uttered the lines, you'll never ever get me on stage with a microphone in my hand. Just not going to happen. But then I think that a lot of that was just the story I was telling myself about, you're not confident enough to do that. You can't do public speaking. That's something that really super confident people do. I think more than anything, we've had a lot of practice, and I class what we're doing now as practice, because although it's not necessarily in front of an audience, a live audience here, we are still in front of an audience. Facebook, I've done a lot of Facebook Lives over the last year. That is a live audience, because although it's only a blinking camera, I'm very, very aware that there are people there. Facebook are telling me right now how many people are watching. People are commenting on the thread. So I'm aware that there are real people there listening to every single word that I'm saying right now.
Oh my God, is it really?
Sorry. Something like 36 episodes of the podcast. I've never told you that. But getting those 36 episodes down, doing probably 100 Facebook Lives, makes getting up and doing a talk a lot easier.
It's having content, I think. Public speaking is one of those things you do. I mean, if you've got some content to tell people, then that's good. It makes it easy. It's nice to be able to relay it. And I think those that are established public speakers, so to speak, if that's the right way of putting it, have content that they want to tell. They've got a story they want to tell. They've got a message they want to give out. They've got the stuff to do, isn't it? And before that, we haven't really needed to have a story to kind of tell. I mean, I do some public speaking with cancer research and all those kind of things, and obviously I teach various other groups and youth groups and whatever else. So actually I do stand up in front of people, and I am happy to talk to people in that sort of respect. But again, you've got to have that content first, because if you don't know what you're going to say and you haven't got a message to kind of give, then just standing up and talking to people isn't, one, going to be received very well, but two, isn't going to give you any confidence to do it either, sort of thing, really.
I mean, I remember when I don't know why this is in my mind, but when I saw Gerald Ratner speak, he had some
cue cards,
but they, kind of A5 maybe. He probably had 3 of them, and that was for a 45-minute keynote. He very rarely looked at them, and I know, most professional speakers, they do this. They have their rough outline, their rough plan of where they're going. It's not a script, and that's the problem. That's the issue I did the first time I did a public talk. I scripted it, and it was like, right, I'm going to say exactly this, and it was like, it was okay, it worked, but trying to stand there with 17 sheets of A4, you've only got to lose your place once, and you're, oh my god, and you're panicked, and it's just, now I go in. So I did a talk last Monday, which I think was probably about 15-20 minute talk, and I had 1 sheet of A4, and it was just bullet points, and I didn't have it with me. I had it at a table over to the side, so that if I forgot where I was, I could just walk over that way, glance at the table, find out where I was on the plan, and walk back and just deliver it. But now those bullet points are kind of stories. So tell the day job story, tell the careers teacher story, tell the £13.51 cheque story, tell the Alan Sugar in the MOT garage story, all these different stories, and they're just, right, where do they link up in the timeline? Okay, give that takeaway there, and I think it's that authenticity of just, right, if you're using stories are brilliant, because everyone loves hearing stories, and if they are your own stories, the stories, so you don't need to script it, because you've probably told these stories 20-30 times before anyway. The conversation I had with Sarah Saturday morning before driving into the BBC studios, she said, "Oh, what are you talking about today?" I said, "I don't know." She said, what do you mean? You're not prepared for this? I said, "No, I'll just, I know the stories, I know what I want to say, I know my content. If someone asks me a question on something, I've probably got an answer for it. And if I haven't, I'll say I haven't got an answer for that. So there's nothing that they can ask me that's going to throw me, because they're not trying to catch me out. This isn't Paxman. It's a Saturday morning chat show.
You're not a politician who's got a load of things that they may have said in the past which weren't necessarily what they should have said when they said them, or lies, as we like to call them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Actually, which one are you going to remember this time, kind of thing, because you're telling different stories to different people for different audiences. But you don't need that, because they are yours, they are your own, they are the story. They are what you kind of tell.
But I think that's that realisation that I've had certainly over the last sort of 4 or 5 months, is I know my content, and so if you know your content, and it's that authentic you, if you can stand up and it sounds cliched, but genuinely be yourself. If I was to stand up and do a 15-minute keynote on
tech,
or I was thinking like YouTube channel setups, that would not be authentic. That would not be me. Doing it on marketing, do it on business, doing it on my story. For God's sake, nobody knows my story better than me.
Oh, we all do now, don't we, guys?
Actually, there's probably perhaps I've got a stalker out there that does. I don't know. But having that authenticity, using stories, giving the audience some takeaways, and just not scripting it, and just, I don't want to say winging it, because it's not winging it. There is preparation goes into every one that I've done, but the preparation is, right, what is the audience? Right, that's an audience of retired people. It's an audience that want local angle. Right, okay, let's talk about the Plymouth stuff that I've done. Let's talk about my passion for local businesses in Plymouth. There's an audience of investors here. Let's talk about some of the investments that I've done. It's like I can tailor each one, but it's all the bullet points that get customised. It's just, okay, what stories am I going to tell these people? So if you are thinking or considering doing any public speaking, honestly, the best thing I can advise to you is, you don't need to join Toastmasters or anything like that. Just do some, even if that is just doing a Facebook Live to your people who like your Facebook page. Just do a Facebook Live,
or do it to yourself. You don't even have to do them. You don't have to do them so the broadcast if you like. So to get free practice and stuff like that, you can just set yourself up in your own group and just Facebook Live to it.
Go to a networking event where you've got the opportunity to do 45 seconds, because everyone can do 45 seconds. Even the most nervous tradesman who doesn't have a clue about anything can stand up and talk for 45 seconds about himself and what he does and what his business does. It may be rushed, it may be prepared, but you know what? If he does 45 seconds today and he does 45 seconds next week and he does that for 6 weeks, by the time he's a couple of months in, he is off patter with it. He knows exactly what he's doing. Cool. And the other thing that you need to remember with public speaking is to subscribe to the Big Idea podcast and to listen to us every month, because we'll be back here next month with another fantastic episode.
We will.
As always, show notes are on the website.
bigidea.co.uk/podcast.
Well done. And as always, we do this live broadcast, live recording of the show with all the behind the scenes stuff, all the outtakes, cats walking across the screen, pigeons flying into windows,
burglars walking in,
Rob walking in during the recording, all the outtakes in our private Facebook group, which is bigidea.co.uk/Facebook. And all that remains for us to say is, I hope you have a fantastic March, and we will see you again next month. Bye-bye.
Catch you later. Bye-bye.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.